Welcome back to the Three Sad Fans podcast, where we believe that the Bills are going 17-0. At least I do. Yes. I don't know. I think they are. In my opinion, I think they are. But anyway, before we get into any of our topics today, I wanted to do a couple quick shout-outs. First of all, shout out Cam Newton for...
That's a quarterback!
That was your quarterback! Apparently, he's feeling it now because he has 8 kids and he doesn't know how to support them anymore because he only made $133 million.
Man.
I know. Don't you hate it when you only make $133 million and you can't provide for your kids?
Who would ever?
I mean, it's actually a real thing that some guys, when they get to the NFL, don't know how to budget. Like, they see that they get all this money and they're like, I'm rich now. I can just spend all the money I want. But they don't budget. They don't save. And so they blow through it all. And now they end up going to the lower packages for FedEx after the NFL career, right?
And that's true. That is a real thing that happens, especially if you're not a superstar who just makes more than he knows what to do with, or you're not making royalties after you're out of the league. Literally, there's a lot of these guys, even when they just make like 5-10 million, and then they leave the league and they don't know how to stretch that, and suddenly they don't know what to do anymore because they're just not financially literate. The same exact thing happens to people who win the lottery, where they suddenly have an influx of cash and they've got like $100 million, and then what's the statistic? It's like more than half of lottery winners become broke and file for bankruptcy within 2 years.
That's crazy.
So Cam Newton lost the lottery. Let's go.
Maybe he needs a $1,000 increase in his contract. I don't know.
Yeah, that's, you know what? I think we need to bring him back and play for the Panthers again. You know, that way he can make another $133 million and get a 9th kid.
A 9th kid?
Not
specifically the 9th kid.
Not the Justin Herbert approach.
Nope.
I wanted to give out another shout out to Bills quarterback Josh Allen, who was seen playing catch with some of his junior fans and other people who were standing on the sidelines. It's really cute and all, and you know, there's like these little kids. He's like, "All right, you, all right, there you go. Ready, hold on." Okay, here you go. And the joke here is that you think he's being wholesome, but he's really just trying to find a new wide receiver one.
Hey, at least he did better than Aaron Rodgers trying to like just throwing it away.
At least he throws the ball back to the kid. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers could never. Back to
the kid. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers did not do that.
No, he would not.
One of the many reasons why Josh Allen is better than Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, one of the many reasons. Josh Allen is actually married and doesn't just lie about it, and shows off his supermodel wife. So, you know.
That is true.
But I think the irony here is that, like, the Bills did as well as they did last year without having that, like, superstar wide receiver one. A lot of people expected the Bills to kind of struggle, and they got really far into the playoffs with just a bunch of casual guys, and they're expected to do just as well this year, if not go 17-0 like I predicted.
I hope
a great quarterback can make an average wide receiver look fantastic.
Yeah, right. I mean, look at Peyton Manning. He did okay, at least a couple times in his career. All right,
he was fine.
And then one last shout out, just one last one, and I know this is one that we can use to kick off our upcoming topics. But do you know who now has a starting role as a quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts?
Oh, no.
It's
Danny
my boy.
Dimes.
It's Danny Dimes. Let's go. Even though they definitely should have given Anthony Richardson a better chance because he's technically younger than every other starting rookie in the NFL right now, but who cares? But yeah, no, Danny Dimes, Mr. Daniel Jones, is now the starting quarterback for the foreseeable future for the Indianapolis Colts. And boy, oh boy, have people really had things to say about that.
The Colts quarterback situation, there was no correct answer, and yet it still feels like they chose wrong.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe the Colts should have brought back Cam Newton at this point, right? Like, he needs money. They need a quarterback. Like, work something out.
They can't do any worse.
They really can't. It's true.
Like I thought he did well going into this week's preseason games. I thought he did okay. I forgot. Did they win?
Oh
Did
no, they
Colts
played the
win?
Packers.
No,
That
that's
was a
right.
close
Oh yeah,
one,
that's
though.
right. That was a close game. That's right. So yeah, I didn't think he did like horrible, but like, why not Anthony Richardson? I feel like he would thrive very well. But
Well, here's the thing with Anthony Richardson. He made the very hard passes look good. Like he could throw the ball downfield
Right.
and it'd be caught. You ask him to throw a dump off pass 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, he's air mailing it to the sidelines.
Or he's panicking and running back 5 yards for a sack.
When he was drafted, he was touted as a project quarterback, like someone who needed time and development to build up, which is really weird why he was taken in the top 10. But then again, if it's going to be a generational quarterback, it's worth a top 10 pick. But the Colts just couldn't get it to work.
And the fact of the matter is, you don't know who's going to be a generational quarterback, right? Like you have the first overall picks. I feel like
Jamarcus Russell.
It's the curse that the first overall pick is never actually generationally great, right? It's always like the 5th, the 6th, the 10th pick, or even somebody taken from the second round who's given a shot, or Tom Brady.
Or
Tom Brady. When was Tom Brady
199.
drafted? It was definitely not first round.
Sixth
Next round?
Yeah,
That's
6th
crazy.
round. Literally like one of the final people drafted, almost Mr. Irrelevant himself. So you don't know who's going to be generational. Every single time it's a roll of the die, and you just got to hope that whatever they did in college translates well into the NFL.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but looking at the stats of it, between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson in the game against the Packers, one of them went 6 for 11, and the other went 7 for 11. And one of them had 73 yards, one of them had 101 yards, and so it's like very comparable. Now, they didn't throw any picks, but they also didn't throw any touchdowns. It's just they're just. If anything,
they were there.
Riley
They
Leonard
threw the
also
ball.
looks just as comparable, right? So who can really tell? At this point, I'm pretty sure that the way that they chose their quarterback is that the owner and the coach went into the back room and said, "All right, call it." Right? And just flipped a coin.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson are in the locker room playing rock, paper, scissors to figure out who's the starter, who's the backup.
I got it. You get Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, 1v1, final destination. No items. Fox only. That's who your starting quarterback is.
If only it was that simple.
If
only.
Since we're talking about the
still
Colts
play
and the
GameCube games?
I do. Listen, if we're talking Colts and Packers, though, I'd love to throw out my couple thoughts on the Colts Packers game, if you don't mind, being the resident Packers fan.
I don't mind.
The resident sad Packers fan. Remember?
Of course,
Yes.
I am a little sad because Jordan Love just went through the hand surgery, so we don't get to see him at all for the rest of preseason, which it's he wants to rest his hand, but that means I don't really get to see him practice. I don't really get to see what he can do. The one time I did get to see what he could do, he floundered and did terrible. And so, I don't know how much I really trust Jordan Love right now. I love the guy, and I've seen him do fantastic. And even if for some reason they go 0-17, I'm still going to be a sad Packers fan. That's true. But not being able to see him for the rest of the preseason or most of the rest of the starters is a little concerning. Matter of fact, a lot of their starters aren't even practicing. So, Christian Watson is still hurt, so he's not practicing. But, Jaden Reed, not practicing. So I even think what's the running back? Josh Jacobs wasn't even practicing. So it's I don't know what any of these guys look like, and we just got to hope that they come out strong because they have a very, very, very tough schedule to start. Where they're going to be playing the Lions and the Commanders. And yes, they're both at home, and that's great. It's good for them. But you cannot lose to these teams and then expect to make an impact later on down the road. This isn't a play catch-up league. It's very rare that a team starts slow and then builds up to a playoff team. That's maybe one team a year gets to do that, and that team is already dedicated to be the Bengals. Every year, it's the Bengals.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
As long as they don't
Go
lose to the
AFC.
Patriots in week 1.
Yeah, that's what
That
it
is
is. So with the Packers themselves, if you look at the stats that I've got up here, Malik Willis did okay, a little below average. I mean, it's weird to say Anthony Richardson had a better stat line. Sean Clifford was 1 for 4. And then they had their Canadian guy out there, I guess, just having fun. I think that's all it was, is just go out there, champ. We know we're not going to keep you, but go have a swell time.
Canadian guy. Like, where was he from? Ontario? I saw that. I was like, why are you playing the NFL?
They pulled him from they pulled him from the Canadian League. I mean, it's not too out of the realm of possibility to pull players from different leagues to come play in the NFL if they seem doing well enough. The kicker for the Cowboys, he came from the UFL, didn't he?
Yeah, both him and Brandon Aubrey of the Cowboys and Jake Bates of the Lion were both spring football leaguers.
And I feel like I read somewhere that the Panthers just signed on a backup quarterback that also came from the UFL.
Yes. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will get to that. So
we'll get to that.
As far as the Packers go, I think their run game is still strong. Their run game has looked solid. Marshawn Lloyd looked great, but he, suffered a bit of an injury, so we don't really know if he's going to be back and be a solid number 2. But otherwise, everyone else looked fine. They did end up winning this game, but only because of a fluke play in the final second, but we're going to get to that later as well. They looked okay against a bad team. But the fact of the matter is it's preseason and all of this is an overreaction anyway. The thing that really got me, the thing that I'm really upset about, is that the Packers are still the most penalized team in the entire preseason. They've always had issues with penalties, and it did not let up in the second week of preseason here either, because they had one individual player on the line get called for a penalty 5 times in one quarter. That's got to be crazy. Some sort of record. At that point, I'm pulling the dude. I'm like, you need to stop holding. You need to stop going false start. You need to stop. You're getting cut. That's what's happening here. So I'm really overreacting to the Packers playing poorly in a preseason game, even though they still technically won. And 23 points is about an average amount of points you'd expect from a team anyway. But I'm still going to be salty about it. Hopefully, in the next preseason game, they show a little bit more life.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I now pass this on to whoever'd like to go next about their team.
No, go ahead.
I will just say for the Ravens game, Cooper Rush actually did pretty well. I thought I watched practically the whole game, and it was it was really nice to see Cooper Rush really thrive, even though he was back in Houston, or sorry,
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas. Yes,
it's basically his home field,
Yeah, it's basically his home field. Yeah, exactly. He did very well.
Minus the 2 interceptions, he did really well.
Minus 2 interceptions, yeah, but those weren't his fault.
Okay,
they were the fault. They were the fault of the people trying to catch the ball.
Always blame the receivers. The Aaron Rodgers approach.
Look, if the ball hits the receiver's hands, he's got to catch that.
He's got to catch it, yes.
Never the quarterback's fault.
Exactly. No, that's not always the case. But Rashad Ali, I think it is his name. He's looking. Rashid Ali, thank you. He's looking like a very good backup for Derrick Henry when trading him in and all that. I'm very happy about that. Tyler Luke doing very well as kicker. I don't think he missed any.
I think
he was 5 for 6.
Yeah,
he was
5 for 6,
but
that's still really good.
Yeah, I think I could give him some slack. I gave the previous kicker a lot of slack because he consistently for 12 years he was doing super well on getting these field goals and extra points just perfect. And then in the last 2 seasons just his talent just diminished 100%. I can give some slack to Tyler Luke just because he's brand new. He's still learning things. So, but he's looking good.
I'll tell you what about Tyler Luke. He alone was what scored 17 of Baltimore's 31 points. So if you're doing fantasy, that's a pretty good pickup. That's pretty solid.
Yeah. But yeah, Ravens right now for their second strings, they're looking pretty good. And I thought for a second, did they put Lamar Jackson out on the field? They were doing pretty well for their second.
No, he was big
players.
No, yeah, he was too busy eating candy, right?
Yes.
I can't believe I didn't make that one of my shout-outs.
Yeah,
all right.
No, literally, yeah. Lamar Jackson is a certified Nerds fan.
All right.
Because he was eating
new shout-out,
nerds.
Lamar Jackson for eating nerds on the sideline before the game and during the game.
They were interviewing, I think, one of the Ravens players during the game. And like for some reason, they just had a bunch of sunflower seeds, and I'm like,
What is it? A
that's a
baseball
great
game?
snack.
That
to
sounds
play.
like a
Yeah.
baseball snack. This
I
is
was
certified
like-
nerds, though.
Yeah,
You got
literally.
the logo showing and everything.
He don't care about copyright issues.
He's like, that's
Was
free
he paid?
advertising.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I hope he was paid for it.
Hopefully. But yeah, Ravens look pretty good.
Wow,
It's nice
must
to
be
see some optimism here in the Three Sad Fans podcast.
Hey Tom,
What is
you want to
that?
have some optimism?
What's that? Okay. So the Panthers really didn't do anything in the game against the Texans. Starters played 2 drives. Bryce Young went 0 for 2 for 0 yards on those 2 drives. Technically, he threw a pick, but that pick was negated because of a defensive holding. But still, nothing. I'm just like, come on, do something. Just want to see something, right? I mean,
with the stick
The
with the
come
guy
on,
poking at
do
the Panthers.
something.
Come on, do something.
Something.
I mean,
You know what?
Starters won't.
He had 1 rush for 2 yards.
Oh wow! Yes. Sorry.
2 yards, rookie numbers.
Sorry. Oh, actually, if you want to count the sack that he had, he ended up with a net of negative yards.
Rough.
Because I think it was a net negative 6 yards. So,
Man.
Yikes.
Panther starters won't play week 3. So Bryce Young ends his preseason going 4 for 8 for 58 yards.
Yeah.
And one touchdown. One
Ooh,
touchdown.
and
So,
with the
yeah,
one
yeah,
touchdown. I mean, they
with the
look
one
great
touchdown.
last
Optimism.
week.
Yeah, so you got more touchdowns than interceptions, but it's just it's just so hard not to overreact to preseason, right? Because half the time you're just watching backups play, and some of the guys who aren't gonna be on the 53-man roster, maybe be practice squad guys at best. But it's just like, I just want to see a win.
Right.
I want to see more than 10 points scored. We only scored 3. I'm just like, come on, do something, right?
Can I just say too, like, it hurts, especially watching that, when you know that there are other teams out there who are playing their starters just to get some reps, and they're playing against somebody's second or third strings, and you see them just marching down the field and scoring touchdowns, and you're like, that's how easy it should be for our starters.
Yes.
Why are they not doing that?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. But you did mention earlier, Panthers did sign another quarterback. His name, I believe, is Bryce Perkins. He is the reigning UFL MVP. So if that's anything, Panthers signed him because Andy Dalton did hurt himself in the game against Houston.
Did he have another car crash in the middle of the field?
If
Trying
only
to get a car in the field.
if he did, Bryce Young would be MVP this season. No, he right elbow sprain is the official diagnosis. And so with the injury there, and our third stringer, Jake Plummer, who threw 2 interceptions in this game, maybe they want to bring in another guy just to see what happens. So, who knows? Honestly, though, the biggest news of the past week for the Panthers was our second-round pick. His name is Nick Scourton. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Scourton. Thursday, he suffered a collapsed lung in practice.
Oh.
Yikes.
Yeah. So he didn't play in the game, and he had to drive back from Houston to Charlotte.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
That's because they were
you
in
almost-
Houston for the game.
Right,
Yeah.
but drive?
That's the report I saw. So I
Wow.
don't. Maybe they didn't want him going up in the air in a pressurized cabin with a
That makes
non-functioning
sense,
lung.
Yeah, that would make sense. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pictures from yesterday, on Monday. He was seen jogging at practice, so
That's
he's
good.
recovering. So that's thumbs up. But hopefully he won't be sidelined for too long, because I don't know how exactly you can collapse a lung. I mean, I get it's a contact sport, and you probably just got hit with an elbow in the right place at the wrong time. So
Yep.
but
Probably.
that's scary injury. But
Very
but Panthers do something.
Just do something.
Do something!
if there's any solace with the Panthers' poor play, it comes in effect that the Bills lost 38-0 to the Bears.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, that was crazy. It was like the Bills
I saw that
backups
score
looked
and I was
terrible.
like, "What happened, Bills? Like, your
Apparently the Bears are just the best team in the league now. I mean, they did have Caleb Williams out there for the first time finally, and I like as a Packers fan, I hate to say it, he looked good. He looked poised. He looked like his receivers were running the right routes and catching the ball and not dropping it, unlike some receivers I know. And his line did good enough for being like literally the most sacked quarterback last year. His line held up enough to give him enough time to get the ball out there. There was some analysts who were pointing out things like he still isn't necessarily weighing his options. He's not going from option 1 to 2 to 3, and he's just kind of if option 1 isn't there, he panics. But for the most part, option 1 was there. So he actually did pretty well on the couple drives that they had. So
yeah, like the little bit that I saw of that game, I was like, man, are the Bills' second stringers like not that great? Are they all like
I would
rookies?
Believe that they're not that great.
Not that great vanilla plays, you know.
Yeah,
not showing off anything. Like, have you seen anyone run a trick play in the preseason? I don't think so.
No. I feel like that's very rare to happen. There's like, let's just do it for shits and giggles, but nope, let's not.
No, you don't want to give away the playbook when the meaningless.
Yeah,
games.
exactly. Yeah.
And I'm disappointed, if anything, that my GOAT, Mike White, played horribly that game. 4 for 11 for 54 yards. What are you doing, Michael? You're killing me. Yeah, anyway, it's a good thing that their starter is Josh Allen and that they're gonna go 17-0. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think Josh Allen played the game, right?
no, definitely not. Didn't even take a snap.
Didn't they have
he was on the
like,
sideline
uniform?
passing it to the kids. Remember, like that was his warm up.
Wasn't he like uniformed too? Like just in case.
He was
like
warmed
he had
up.
his pads on. I was like, huh. But he never played.
I maybe it was just team camaraderie or something like that. I don't know, because it definitely wasn't like, oh, if we're behind, we're gonna need you to get out there to pull us ahead, because they were behind the entire game. They lost 38-0. There was no reason for him to go in.
It reminds me of that late season game last year where the Chiefs played like all of their second stringers and they scored 0 points. And they tuned the channel to a different game because they were like, "Yep, the Chiefs suck and this other team's gonna win." So,
well, they didn't have to play the starters. They had locked up the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
There's no point of playing the starters. Yeah.
Did you guys watch any of the other preseason games? Were there any that stuck out to you guys specifically? Because I have 2. If you guys don't,
I don't have anything.
Yeah. What did you point out?
All right, so the 2 that I saw, number 1 was the Raiders, because their starters actually went in and didn't suck. They did lose in the final seconds, but I mean that was a pretty good final seconds where the interception set up the 59-yard field goal for who was it, Moody? And
Jake
Moody finally made that big field goal to for the win to save his job. Mac Jones threw an interception. But the Raiders actually had a pretty decent showing with their starters. Geno Smith went 6 for 8 for 55 yards. And then Ashton Genty actually had a 4.7 average rush on 7 attempts and a touchdown. So he's looking like now what we expect him to look like when the season starts. It just happens to be that one drive from the first preseason game was a fluke, and maybe he's not washed. Who would have thought that preseason it means nothing? So,
real crapshoot.
Yeah. So I still think I'm very high on Ashton Genty. I think more people need to be, but that was one thing I saw. Also, Aiden O'Connell is still a terrible quarterback. I don't know why he's still on the team, right? Like I don't know.
He probably won't be once his contract runs out.
But I'm gonna be very interested in watching the Raiders this year whenever our teams are not playing. So that's gonna be very tough because it seems like every team plays at the same time. But if there's a chance to watch the Raiders, I'm definitely gonna watch the Raiders. The other game that had me eyes open going, wow, was actually, hold on. There's another team that I think did really well. The Broncos went crazy. The Broncos. I almost typed in Broncos when I was trying to bring them up here. The Broncos, I think, actually have really crazy depth because, like, it seems no matter who they're playing in their 2 preseason games, they went 30-9 and 27-7. So they are outscoring all of, like, their secondary guys are outscoring everybody else's secondary guys. Just looking at these stats are kind of crazy for, like, secondary, right? For your second team, the Broncos, 16 of 23, 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jarrett Stidham. I've never even heard of this guy before in my life.
That's the first time I've heard that name.
Mm-hmm. He's been in the league for a few years. I think this is his
and then Sam Ellinger, 14 for 16, crazy, and 162 yards. Where do they get in these guys? And they already have Bo Nix, who's crazy good. You know,
actually, no. Sam Ellinger is not a rookie. He's been in the league since 21. I was thinking of the last Texas quarterback that just got drafted.
Mm-hmm. And then Evan Ingram, who's been in the league forever, also put up a showing in receiving. He just looks like he's ready to go. He's 30 years old, and he's still putting up really good numbers. Evan Ingram had 1 reception for 58 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I'm just saying, he came ready to play. So, Pat Bryant, 4 receptions, 70 yards. Troy Franklin, 4 receptions, 67 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This team has crazy depth. And that, again, is just the offense. The defense held 1 team to 6 points and 1 team to 7 points. If their starters are anywhere as close to this, they're going to be crazy good this year.
Mm-hmm. Of course, team.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one I wanted to bring up, because this one was just a fun game to watch, was the one that happened last night. And I think both of you guys went to bed because you guys are early risers. But it was the Bengals and the Commanders, where right off the break, both teams looked phenomenal. They did play their starters, and both their starters played a good chunk of the game, or maybe not a good chunk, but like the whole first quarter. Joe Burrow was 9 for 14 with a touchdown, and then you know the crazy thing. Hold on, where is Jaden Daniels on here? Jaden Daniels didn't even pass the ball when he was in. They did 4 run plays to go like 70 yards and a touchdown. So Jaden Daniels doesn't show up in passing, but he does have 1 rush for 14 yards and a touchdown. And so just watching these two teams go back and forth was a real treat. And then like Jake Browning, being a really good backup like he is, went 16 for 25, 159 and 2 touchdowns. So I think the Bengals, as long as they get their defense together, and they did okay holding Washington to 17.
That's a good one.
Yeah, if they can, I still think that they're going to be a really dangerous team this year. So those were my other preseason shout-outs for teams that I think could be really scary down the stretch. And the unfortunate thing is the Packers play both of these teams. Actually, the Packers also play the Broncos. This might not be a good year for the Packers, guys. I'm just saying. I don't know.
You'll be fine.
See, knowing that, you really do have a tough schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a game I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Browns Eagles.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because week 1 for the Browns, it was
Shedeur
Sanders, and then Tyler Huntley came in.
Mm-hmm.
This week, I think Shedeur was injured or something, or he was limited in practice.
Yeah, he didn't play at all.
This game, it was all Dylan Gabriel and then Tyler.
And then Tyler Huntley after Dylan Gabriel threw an interception, and they're like, benched. No, that's not really what happened, but.
I mean, 13 for 18, 143 yards and an interception. It's not
if you take out the interception, it's 13 for 17 for 143 yards, and that's a pretty good stat line.
Especially for a rookie. That's really good.
Now listen, it's no 2 touchdowns against the number 32 defense in the league like Shedeur Sanders did, but I heard a lot of people saying that they liked Gabriel's decision-making, his vision downfield, and his footwork. Like, for a rookie, he's actually looking pretty comfortable in the pocket.
And the Browns, having seen the 2 rookies go out and play a game each and not seen Kenny Pickett throw the ball once, nor Joe Flacco throw the ball once, have decided that Joe Flacco, Noah's GOAT, will be the starting quarterback.
Shout out.
I'm a Browns fan now.
You're not a Browns fan. You have to beat the
Don't say
twice.
that. Don't say that.
This guy's out here like, I'm a Ravens fan, but also if I wasn't, I'd be a Steelers fan, but also a Browns fan. And I kind of like the Bengals. Look at him being chummy with his rivals.
No.
He's a fan of every AFC North team. The only fan of an AFC North team that likes all the other teams.
You're right.
No.
You gotta have that burning hatred for your rivals. Come on, Noah, dig deep.
I'm sorry. No. I'm happy that Joe Flacco started for the Browns, but like that was a very quick decision, I thought.
He's
like,
40 years old.
I know, and like
they know what he's capable of, though. You know.
Yeah,
so
and like he's got the one Super Bowl ring to prove it. I guess I don't know, but just like.
Okay.
I think from the very start they knew he was going to be the starter, which is why they didn't have him practice nearly as much or even go out for preseason. And really everything that's been happening behind closed doors here has been like the competition for number 2. Because they're like, we hope that Joe Flacco will be good enough to take us, at least to a winning record, hopefully through a few weeks, but probably not. And so at least with the first, the preseason and the first few weeks, you're getting these other guys reps and experience so that when it is time for them to take the reins, you're not just throwing them out there like a deer in headlights. They at least have some comfortability before they get stomped by every team from here to the end of the season.
Yep.
Yeah, real Occam's quarterback situation. The most obvious answer, it's the correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
40-year-old Joe Flacco.
And it truly is the
Jones.
Browns, Sometimes
About
I
6
forget.
quarterbacks.
Sometimes I forget that
the
Deshaun Watson is on there.
Yep.
Yeah, about 6 quarterbacks. The oldest one.
The oldest one, yep.
And it's like, if Shedeur Sanders came out and threw like 8 touchdowns a game, I still think when Deshaun Watson comes back, they give him the starting job because they're paying him too much money not to.
Well, they're tied at the hip with Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm. And it's like...
They have no choice but to play him.
There's been plenty of examples of where a backup comes in and does so well, they take the starting job. We've got Brock Purdy, we've got Dak Prescott, we've got Tom Brady. But it's like when you're investing that much money into a guy, it feels really hard to cut the cord on that,
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right, I did want to go over the this is really funny because it is preseason, but there were 3 games this preseason that really came down to the final play that decided who won the game. But also because it's preseason, they took like no extra time to look over this play and just kind of went, that's the ruling. So let's all go home. I got places to go and people to be. But one of them was the Packers and the Colts. And if you guys saw this, I'm at least showing it on the screen for the viewers to watch, where they go back to pass. The throw to the corner of the end zone, it looks like it's caught, looks like he's hit, looks like he reaches over the pylon, and they looked at it first. I think the call is that he's out of bounds at the 1, which I didn't even think he was out of bounds at the 1. I thought he caught it and was a touchdown, and I was ready to cry, as I do. But then they went back. It doesn't show in the highlights, but then they go back and they say overall it was just incomplete. Incomplete pass, game over. So it's kind of interesting that had such a change. It really did kind of change the trajectory of who won the game, or even like passing yards for the quarterback if people are betting on that. But I think the irony here is that the one person that really loses here is whoever is stupid enough to bet on these preseason games.
Yeah, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
When they aren't breaking out the digital measurements for end of game situations, it's just a big red flag. Do not bet.
Yeah, do not bet. If they don't care enough, you shouldn't care enough. The second one is the Patriots-Vikings game, where the Vikings are down by 8, and at the very end of the game, back to pass, you got some guys going across the end zone, throws an interception, right? Looks like the game would be over right there. There's double zeros on the clock, but what happens is that he tries to start running it out, gets stripped of the ball, and then the Vikings fall on it for a touchdown. Now, you could go back and try to look at this to see maybe was the ball coming out? Where does he lose possession? Is it right about there? His butt's not quite on the ground yet. Right there. Is it in his hands? Is it not? The refs didn't care enough. They said that he was down. It's a touchback. Game over. So I guess the Vikings won't have a chance to go for 2 to tie it up, and And
Nope.
if you bet on
no.
a tie or at least the Vikings to not lose or maybe on the spread or an over-under, you're out of luck because the referees do not care.
It's NFL and there's still ref ball. We love it.
Always. I mean, it's not...
Always.
There's more ref ball in the preseason because they just don't care.
They just don't
Exactly.
care. They're like, we'll let the virtual measurement take care of it. We got to test it out anyway, even if it does technically take longer than the chain game.
There's something about that virtual measurement too. I'm pretty sure there was one game where they did a virtual measurement to tell if the ball was like behind the line, but that wasn't the reason why the virtual measurement had to be done. It was for a different reason, and I don't remember what game that was, but I saw that and I was like, why?
Or they'll bring out the virtual measurement to see if he was short or not, and then completely double back and be like, actually, it was an incomplete pass, so we didn't even
that's what
have to
happened.
measure. It's like,
Right,
then
exactly.
why did you do it? You're
Like,
wasting your time. You're wasting my time. They just wanted to cut
it's
to
just
another
funny
ad
to
break.
see. It's
game
just
is
funny
already
to
long
see the
enough.
virtual measurement symbol on the TV. You're like, there it is. There's the new thing. That's about it.
Yeah, it was just advertisement
is-
at that point.
The
Yep.
game's already long enough. I don't need it. I don't need you holding me up anymore.
Yep.
And then the last game, this one I thought was really interesting because this came down to Spencer Rattler scoring a touchdown for the Saints to tie the game. Jaguars get the ball back, trying to go downfield. They have all their timeouts. Maybe they could get a last-second field goal. Back to pass, looking across the field, and then throws an interception. Okay, this is not the interception. This is a flag. Here it is. They're at their 42, 9 seconds left on the clock. Now throws an interception, starts running it back, and then gets hit out of bounds, touching out of bounds with 1 second left on the clock. And maybe if he ran out of bounds at like the 30 and there was 2 seconds, they would have been a lot more generous about it. I don't even think he was looking at it, but he's clearly out of bounds. There's still one, his butt is on the ground. There is 1 second on the clock. And they don't get to line up for the field goal because the refs do not care enough and just call a game. They're like, nope, game over. We don't care. Even though
Yeah,
literally, I had it on a screenshot. It was on a screenshot. There was 1 second left on the clock, and his butt was very clearly out of bounds. It is very clearly, and they did not let them kick the field goal because
It
they
would have been
did
a
not
makeable
care
field goal
enough.
too. It only would have been like 40 something from
Yeah,
where he
from
ran out of bounds.
he went out of bounds at the 24. Like, this is a super doable kick, right? I mean, if
Yeah,
the
42.
if the guy on the other side of the field, you know, if the Jacksonville guy can kick a 70, then there's no reason you shouldn't be able to kick a 42. You know what I'm saying?
Every NFL kicker should be able to kick a 42-yard field goal.
And listen, I'm not mad about
minimum.
this. They're not mad about this. But if you bet on the Saints to win, you should be mad about this.
Yes.
Also, seek
Be
help.
ready for more ref.
And seek help.
Seek help.
Don't bet on the Saints.
Don't never bet on the Saints. They're not supposed to
Yeah.
be good this year.
Gamble responsibly, ladies and gentlemen. Gamble responsibly.
All right.
Gamble on the preseason, not responsible.
Don't. That's just irresponsible betting right there. Actually, this is
Exactly.
completely off topic. I didn't even share this one with you guys. But did you see that like the it was the Little League World Series is trying to make sure that nobody can bet on Little League games?
Good.
That's
which is
Little
good,
League
right?
games
Like,
in the first
Don't
place.
Yeah.
bet on
shouldn't be.
12-year-olds.
I wouldn't. I would never, right? But yeah, there's literally they had to come out and make a statement. They're like, we're trying to keep the integrity of our game. Please do not allow anyone to bet on, you know, the Little League World Series. These are literal children who are just trying their best and having fun. So stop making it a gamble thing. Because, I mean, you've
That's
seen the
crazy.
videos. People will gamble on anything. People were gambling on the presidential election or reality TV or anything like that. Like, people are
Nail
gambling on who
races.
we're going to go to war with next, you know? People are crazy. So don't gamble
That's
on Little League. I shouldn't have to say that, but don't do
Nope.
it.
Little 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Think of your nephew.
You are traumatizing those kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
All right, but I have a question now I'd like to pose to Noah, being our Ravens expert.
sir.
Our resident sad Ravens fan.
Our resident sad Ravens fan. All right,
Yep.
so I posed a question earlier in the chat. I don't know if you had a chance to look it over or not. But the question is, Does Derrick Henry stay a top 3 rusher again this year? And what are the chances that he's number 1? Because if you remember last year, he was number 2. He was behind Saquon Barkley for total rush yards. How do you think he's going to fare this year?
I feel like he's going to do about the same.
About the same?
I feel like he's going to be top 3. He might be number 2 again if Saquon Barkley does good on the Eagles. But I feel like he'll be top 3 at least. I don't see any sort of way that he would be below that unless some other person just flies past him and beats whatever record he had last season and beats whatever Saquon Barkley has done previously. So I think at least top 3.
I was hearing word around the league that people don't even expect Saquon Barkley to do as well this year as he did last year. Usually, like, when you push somebody to do that well, Saquon Barkley was the one person to get 2,000 yards last year. Derrick Henry was close at 1921. And then who was it? Was it Adam Sandler that was all like, yo, Derrick Henry, if you get 2,000 yards, I'll put you in one of my movies. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that. I did not hear about that.
I think it was Adam Sandler. I can't remember, but I did hear about that where he's like, yeah, Derrick Henry, if you get 2,000 yards, you can be in one of my movies. But you can tell that there's clearly those two that were at the top, and then everybody else just kind of sat behind. And my boy Josh Jacobs was even he was in contention for a while. He was like number 3 for like average yards per rush for a while. But it looks like the top was Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, because that's how you say it. It's Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor for the Colts, surprisingly, Jamar Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, Kyrene Williams, and then Chuba Hubbard at number 8. Chuba Hubbard, let's go. But yeah, that's at that point you're under 1,200, and that's probably not even looking at contending to be a top rusher. I mean, probably after 1,500, you're not contending to be a top rusher at that point, right? But you got to also remember who's in the league this year now, too. We've got people like Ashton Genty who are supposed to be breakout players. So with all of that in mind, do you still think Derrick Henry places top 3, especially since Lamar Jackson is still a good passing powerhouse like he is? A lot of these other people like Jonathan Taylor is number 4 because Indy didn't have a passing game. They couldn't pass the ball, so of course they were running it with him every play that they could.
Yeah, that is true.
Lamar also will take rushing yards away from Derrick Henry.
Yeah, because,
not like purposely. It's not like he's ripping him out from underneath them. Like
no. A few quarterback design drop plays.
No. Lamar's a very good mobile quarterback, as that's what's the meta. The meta of NFL quarterbacks. The meta of NFL is of quarterbacks is just the run. So I don't know how many of those players are that are coming in that is going to be those like breakthrough players. And knowing the Ravens, they might do a little bit more passing than rushing, and Lamar Jackson might do more rushing himself versus passing the ball off to Derrick Henry or whoever else. Maybe at least top 5 for Derrick Henry if that were the case. But my optimism, my copium says he's going to still be top 3 because I just love Derrick Henry. He's such a good player. So
you got his jersey.
I do have his jersey. That is true.
Yeah, for me, I think as long as Derrick Henry is healthy, I think he does stay top 3, but I think he's like at number 3. I think Bijan specifically is going to have maybe not a breakout year, but I do think that he's going to be handed the ball off more, especially since their quarterback is still kind of in limbo. They got Penis Jr. still throwing, I think he's taking the starting role right now because
Penis Jr., huh?
That's his name. Didn't you see it on the telecast? They actually wrote it.
I'll say, did you see that? Yeah, it finally happened.
It finally happened. Some intern lost his job, but it finally happened.
His last name is Penix, Penix.
And on the keyboard, the X and the S are right next to each other, so it looks like an honest mistake.
That is true.
Probably was an honest mistake, but like...
Yeah, it probably was.
But it's a really bad mistake.
It's a really bad mistake to make. And then I'm still really high on Genty. I think Genty pulls out a 1,500 yard season, and just doing 1,500 puts you top 3 right now. I think Saquon Barkley is probably still going to be top 5. If he's him and Derrick Henry will be hovering around number 3, I think. But there are other teams that are going to be so much more run heavy because that's what they have to rely on. That I think their running backs are going to be contending for that top spot.
Absolutely.
What do you think there, Mr. Tom?
I think it's pretty good. You might also have to look out for Martin Hampton, the running back out of North Carolina that got drafted by the Chargers this last draft, in a Jim Harbaugh offense that is run the ball first. You know, he's gonna get a lot of touches, and he'll probably rack up a lot of yards. And it probably wouldn't surprise me if Hampton finishes with more yards than Genty.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either. That's a really good call out, actually. So I believe it, but I wanted to hear that from our resident Ravens fan here.
Yeah, at least top 5. Hopefully top 3.
Here's a question for the resident sad Packers fan.
Yeah?
Is this the best chance the Packers have to win the Super Bowl this year?
That is a great question, and you know why I think maybe it is? It doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the league. It is purely just where the Packers are right now. So you can call me all conspiracy theory, but do you know how old Brett Favre was when he won the Super Bowl with the Packers?
27.
He was 27 years old. That's right, Tom. Do you know how old Aaron Rodgers was when he won the Super Bowl with the Packers?
I'm going to guess 27.
He was 27. And do you know how old Jordan Love is this year?
27.
He's 27. The Packers are going to the Super Bowl. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, but I actually have some real thoughts about it. So if you look at it, the Packers actually did place top 10 in just about every single metric. They were top 10 in scoring, top 10 in yards, top 10 in defense. And as long as they can clean up their act and catch the ball every once in a while, which is why they drafted a wide receiver and got another wide receiver, then they shouldn't have any problem with at least getting to that point. The fact of the matter is that you try to build a team where you have a balance on either side so that you can get that far. They say the defense wins championships, and it's true. And the Packers have been lacking a defense for a very long time. The offense has always been there. Matt LaFleur is a very scheme-heavy, offense-heavy coach, but now that they finally have a good defense and a good defensive coordinator, this right now is their best shot, and they finally picked up the pieces to do it. Between having Xavier McKinney, Edgerrin Cooper, and even having Bo Melton go to cornerback, apparently he's been phenomenal there. His stats actually show that he's only given up 14 yards the entire preseason so far. That's pretty good. So, as good as the offense is, and as consistent as the offense has been, with their defense in the position that it is now, I truly believe that if they're going to win a Super Bowl or even make a run at it, this is their window. This year, next year, maybe the year after that, but it's not a very big window. We all know that these teams only have so big of a window before that window closes and they have to re-sign guys or they need to trade guys or they hit some sort of salary cap. And so if the Packers are going to make a run, now's the time. The past couple of years have been decent. I didn't think that the Jordan Love start year was going to be their year. He still needed to get into a groove. Last year, they started building the pieces. And truthfully, they only lost to 3 teams, minus the Bears, but we don't count that. And those 3 teams were the other 3 better teams in the NFC. So if they can just get over that little hurdle, if they can be competitive with those teams, at that point, it's just a coin flip whether or not they make it farther in the playoffs or even make it to the Super Bowl. So genuinely, I think this is their time. But the same thing could be said on the other side in the AFC for the Ravens. Isn't that right, Noah?
True. That is true, actually. Yes. They have.
I feel like the window has been open for the Ravens for a while now, but they can't beat the Chiefs.
Actually,
that's the thing. No, that's the thing that's been keeping the Ravens in the way of the Super Bowl. Is not only the Chiefs but also the Bills. The Bills have been doing incredible the last couple of years. And they've built up this like foundation in the same way that the Packers are building and still building their foundation and probably have solidified it by now with the Ravens and having Lamar Jackson as their quarterback and Derrick Henry as their running back and all that all this team building since they last won. Oh God, it's been over 13 years at this point.
Same with the Packers, man. Same with the Packers.
So yeah, I really think, if the Ravens are going to have to run on the AFC side, this is their year to do it. But as Tom said, their window has been here for years.
Can I actually make a counter argument? So the reason why I think now is the time for both the Bills and the Ravens, but more specifically the Ravens because they're a more complete team, is because that window is closing for the Chiefs. The Chiefs had this window, and they took advantage of this window for the past 5, 6, 7 years, which is why they've consistently won their division, why they've consistently gone through the playoffs, why they've consistently gone to the Super Bowl and even won it multiple times. But now they're getting to the point where I'm not going to say like Patrick Mahomes is washed. He's still a good quarterback, but he's losing the pieces around him. They're aging out. They're trading them away. They barely made it to the Super Bowl last year by the skin of their teeth. They barely came out of some of these games by the skin of their teeth just by sheer luck. They're crumbling down before them. And while this is happening, the Bills and the Ravens are still holding strong with their teams. So it's just, at this point, it's not like, are the Chiefs going to make it back? I don't think the Chiefs make it back to the Super Bowl, honestly. It's just going to be which team is going to beat the Chiefs for the right to go to the Super Bowl at this point.
Yeah,
we'd be so lucky if the Chiefs didn't make another Super Bowl.
Well, I think
someone else,
especially in the division that they're in now. I know that we all probably predicted the Chiefs to win their division, but I don't think that's a lock anymore. It was barely a lock last year. And this year, coming into the toughest competition they have yet, they have one of the hardest schedules going into the league. I don't know if they win their division. Hot take. You can disagree. That's fine.
Yeah.
But
there's a chance.
If they're not the number one seed and playing at home all the way through the playoffs, I don't think they make the Super Bowl. And if the Bills go 17-0, they'll be the number one seed, and I don't know, maybe they do. So when it comes down to it, I really don't think that the Chiefs are making it, which is what opens it up for the Bengals again, or opens it up for the Ravens to finally go, or the Bills to finally go. And please, God, let somebody who's not the Chiefs go, because I would love to see, or the Eagles, but at least on the AFC side, I would love to see some fresh new faces and ones that get talked about every single year that deserve that right to make a name for themselves that don't, because it's always the Chiefs. So you can disagree, but I do think I see a weakness in the Chiefs this year. I don't think they're going to be as great. I think that this is finally the time for these other AFC teams, especially the Ravens, to step up and take that place. Ravens, Packers, Super Bowl, anyone?
I would be so down for that, low key. And
of
honestly,
course you would. Of course I would.
Well, yeah, and honestly, to your point too, and you saying that makes me think that like the Bengals have an opportunity to get into that same window of like being good, and they've been consistent. They haven't been great, but they've been pretty consistent the last couple of years, and I feel like they have this opportunity now to be where the Ravens were when Lamar Jackson first got into the Ravens and solidify their foundation.
What do you think, Tom?
Honestly, though, you guys are overlooking the Super Bowl logo color theory. And I'll share.
Do they have a logo for the next one for 2026 Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'm gonna share this in our little chat here.
It's gonna be on NBC. They've had it for a while.
Yeah, so
wait.
If you pull that up, clearly it's gonna be the Ravens and Lions in the Super Bowl. So
let's take a look. Honestly, I see it. Honestly, I see it. But there's a little. Okay, listen. But if you look on the right side, I see where they pulled the Lions from with the blue in the sky. But do you see the hill and the little? Hold on, I'm gonna super zoom in on this. There is way more green and yellow in this than there is blue. Way more green and yellow.
That's
the Packers are going to the Super Bowl, baby. Let's go.
Remember when we all thought and were hoping last season that the Ravens and the Lions were going to make it to the Super Bowl because the Lions have never been to the Super Bowl? That did not pan out.
I wouldn't
It was
even be
very
upset if the Lions
unfortunate.
made it to the Super Bowl, bro. Just
Me
anyone
neither.
but these same teams over and over. What is this, Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
It's all like
I
Taylor
don't want
Swift to the
Swift
Super
Cam.
Bowl. Oh, but yeah, no, it'll be nice to see some fresh faces. Genuinely, that Super Bowl 5 years ago with the Bengals Rams, it was one of the best ones in years. Like, that's my hot take. I genuinely love that one. Two great quarterbacks, well deserving of the place there, and a really good game to end it all off.
Different teams.
Different teams, please.
No Chiefs. No Niners.
Nope.
No Eagles.
No Eagles.
No Eagles.
Bills,
No
Ravens.
repeat Super Bowls.
Nope. We're not doing three-peats anymore. Three-peats
We can only
should be
let
banned.
three-peat happen if it's a good team that doesn't have 50 million commercials and a coach that goes Bondaruski.
Literally.
Oh, I'm so tired. It's lodged in my head.
Every
Can't
time
wait for that,
I see that commercial, it's a race to the mute button.
Yep.
Where's the remote? Yeah.
I do have one more question that's kind of along the same lines of the Super Bowl, but this one's more Packer oriented, and then we'll get into our little game and call it for the day. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so with me being all high about the Packers' ability to go to the Super Bowl this year because Jordan Love is 27 and this is just their best window to do it, even though they have a really tough NFC to fight in order to get there, this still might be their best chance. And considering the Aaron Rodgers era has been to the Super Bowl, won it, and even been to the NFC Championship game multiple times before that, it brings up the question, which team do you think had an easier route to the Super Bowl? Which team has that better chance? The Aaron Rodgers era or the Jordan Love era? And I want to know what you guys think. Cause listen, I've sat here and hyper fixated this, so I definitely have an answer, but I kind of want to hear what your guys' thoughts are before I go on a tangent.
Aaron Rodgers receivers can catch the ball.
That's a very good point, you know? Great point.
I was gonna say Jordan Love just because the game has evolved since Aaron Rodgers has been to the Super Bowl with more games per season and just changes with the game in general, and especially with how tough the schedules have been for the Packers. Like they've had easier schedules, but the teams have gotten tougher over the years. So I really think Jordan Love has a tougher NFL to face.
So you think
Definitely.
it was easier for Aaron Rodgers to make it to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, especially when he was on the Packers. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you think Jordan Love makes it to the Super Bowl, you think that actually means that he's a pretty good quarterback, maybe, and the Packers are in good hands then, maybe.
We can only hope that the Packers found the third franchise quarterback in a row.
We can only hope.
Hopefully. Only
But
hope.
I definitely had some thoughts about it because it's not just like rule sets, it's definitely opponents as well. Back in the day, Aaron Rodgers was in an NFL against people like Drew Brees, Russell Wilson in his prime, and on the other side with the AFC, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And a lot of those are Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And it is really tough to go toe-to-toe against those guys, to be able to beat them consistently week after week and face them in the playoffs and be able to go to the Super Bowl. I remember there's many times that the Packers lost to the Seahawks specifically, whether it was the Fail Mary or whatever, a fluke. But,
Clearly a touchdown.
Clearly a touchdown, I guess. Substitute refs or not. But
Clearly a
Aaron
touchdown.
Rodgers definitely had this legacy of people that he had to play against. And the thing that really held that Green Bay Packers team back was the defense. So no matter how good Aaron Rodgers did, his 48 touchdown to 5 interception season, or them going 15-1, that doesn't mean anything if he can't put up a mediocre play, like a mediocre performance in the playoffs and have the defense be walked all over by whoever they happen to be going against, because that seems to always be their Achilles. I still remember them losing the NFC Championship game one year in Lambeau when they had the number 1 seed against the 49ers, where they had a punt blocked and recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. And that's not Aaron Rodgers' fault. Not that I really like Aaron Rodgers, but I acknowledge that that's not his fault. He did as good as he could to get there, but when the rest of the team is failing, it's going to be a struggle. So he really had to go above and beyond to at least get that far in the first place.
Absolutely.
On the other hand, I do think Jordan Love specifically has a tougher NFL to play against. So even though he's got the better defense and a more complete team around him with Josh Jacobs as a running back, he now has Matthew Golden at wide receiver. So maybe he doesn't have like the star wide receivers that Aaron Rodgers had, but he still has a more like complete team. The people in the NFL that he has to beat are a lot tougher. He does have to try to beat Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, which he's beaten, by the way. He has beaten Patrick Mahomes in their last head-to-head. But those are all just AFC. So that's not even people that he'd have to like fight to get there. That would just be regular season. On the NFC, he's got to go against Jared Goff and Jaden Daniels and Baker Mayfield. And so these are the people that or Matthew Stafford.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. These are the ones that he'd have to be actually playing against in the playoffs. And I think that is a tougher roster, at least getting to the Super Bowl. Once you get to the Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers versus whoever he'd have to go against, whether it be Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, whoever it happened to be that year, that would be a lot tougher. But him getting to the Super Bowl seemed to be a little bit easier. He just needed to not mess up in the playoffs. Whereas Jordan Love, him getting to the Super Bowl in general, already has to go through a gauntlet of teams and a gauntlet of players. So, in one sense, I think I absolutely agree that Aaron Rodgers had an easier path to the Super Bowl than Jordan Love. But that doesn't necessarily mean his Super Bowl would have been easier. I think no matter what, both of these players would have a really tough AFC opponent, and that might not really be a winning Super Bowl in that case. So, hey, I'm just glad the Packers got the one. So, I think my overall answer is that Aaron Rodgers had an easier path to the Super Bowl. But you do have to like think about what team is around them and the teams that they're facing.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I still think this is their year. This is their best chance at getting to the Super Bowl.
27's the lucky number.
27 years old. But
it's a 27 club.
I think I only wrote down that this is the Packers' best chance at the Super Bowl, not necessarily to win the Super Bowl. I think there's a reason why the AFC team has won so often in the past, and why that AFC team has always been the Chiefs.
Yeah,
because
seriously,
it's a tough NFL out there right now. There's so many teams that are considered good. There's a few teams that are elite, but there's a lot of teams that are considered good. Whereas as opposed to 10, 15 years ago, there was just a lot of there was like a good handful of elite teams and then bad teams. You know?
True. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, anything else you guys want to add on top of that?
No, you nailed it on the head.
Thanks.
Exactly.
I wrote that one down because I was ready for that. I just wanted to get that rant out there. But I do have a game if you guys are willing to play a game today. It's a really easy one. It's just another guessing game.
Oh yeah.
And I think that you guys could get this one pretty easily because we're only going with the top 5 this time. All right.
Okay.
But can you guys? I got the list in front of me. Guess the top 5 best-selling NFL jerseys of all time. Tell me the name of the player.
Dayton Triangles.
Tell me the name of the player and the team that they played for. It is not anyone on the Dayton Triangles. I don't even think they were selling jerseys back then.
Man.
What? Okay. Brady and the Patriots.
Brady and the Patriots. Number 1, baby. Got to get that one out of the way. Easy. Yep. Tom Brady on
Buccaneers,
the Patriots.
potentially.
Nope, Tom Brady's only up there once, and it was his Patriots because he played for them for so long. He was only on the Buccaneers, 2 years?
Yeah,
2, 3, I think.
I say 3. Yeah.
I don't know. He won a Super Bowl. That's all I know.
Yep.
In the first year.
He probably sold a lot as a Buccaneer, but he definitely sold way more as a Patriot.
Aaron Rodgers Packers.
Aaron Rodgers Packers is number 3.
Interesting.
Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers. So yeah, he also played the Packers for a very long time, and there's a lot.
I'm only thinking quarterback fans. I'm only thinking quarterbacks for this list. Mahomes with the Chiefs.
Mahomes with the Chiefs is number 4. So believe it or not, more Rodgers than Patrick Mahomes, but Rodgers has also been in there. And you are right, Tom. It is all quarterbacks.
Well, it's all quarterbacks.
It's all quarterbacks, so you can narrow it down. So there's no Barry Sanders slipping in there. So yeah, you got Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. You're still missing number 2 and number 5.
21st century. Nah, it's not Bryce Young. As much as I want it to be.
Maybe one of these days. Come on, you just got to get a few Super Bowl runs going.
The only one I can think of is Flacco Ravens or Lamar Jackson Ravens. So the Ravens are on that list somewhere, but I wouldn't know where.
The Ravens are not on the list.
They're
I hate
not?
to say it. No, they aren't
That's
outselling some of these
disappointing.
other teams.
All three quarterbacks we've said so far have been 21st century quarterbacks. Are the other two 21st century?
One of them is still in the league. One of them is not.
Okay. Still one in. Who's
Right.
still in the league? Who's an old guy? Who's an old guy still on the team for a long time?
Joe Flacco, but
No, he's
Joe
not.
Flacco.
No,
Joe Flacco with the Browns. Let's go.
Joe Flacco with the Browns.
Is it Josh Allen?
It's not Josh Allen.
Interesting.
Yeah, now I'm running through.
Yeah, I'm
Drew Brees. Drew Brees is the one not in.
It's not Drew Brees. You're actually here's I'll give you a couple hints. Obviously, the one that's not in the league anymore is a legend because of course they would be. And both of these players, I have said their name at some point during this podcast.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning is number 2.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning on the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is not on
No,
the
he's
list.
not in the league. We got a guy in the
A
league.
lot of people actually refunded their Brett Favre jerseys.
Yeah.
Number
someone-
5 is going to be a little like you're going to be like, oh, and it's going to make sense once you get it, but it does. It is interesting that he's number 5.
I'm running through all the quarterbacks now.
So you've already got Tom
who's-
Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes. I can give you one more little hint if you'd like.
I have to Google.
Dak
his name.
Prescott?
It is Dak Prescott,
Is it Dak
number
Prescott?
5. And the reason
was
for that, it
thinking-
has nothing to do with the talent. It has to do with the fan base. The
Cowboys.
Cowboys fan base is crazy and will eat up whoever their quarterback is. They don't care. And since Dak Prescott's been playing for the past 9, almost 10 years now, he's going to sell a lot of jerseys.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. I was thinking Jalen Hurts Eagles, but
He's
That-
only been
that
in the
makes
league
the-
for a few years, so he's
Yeah,
you
and
gotta
that
think
makes
somebody
sense,
who's
it's
kind of
Dak
been
Prescott.
around and then has a big NFL fan base. So
right, absolutely. Cowboys' fan base is huge.
So yeah, there's your top 5 best-selling NFL jerseys of all time: Tom Brady, New England Patriots; Peyton Manning, Indianapolis Colts; Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers; Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs; and Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. And this list is as of this is actually recent, as of June 2025.
Nice.
So
I don't know.
we know it's recent.
Clearly, it's
Yeah.
changed in the 2
Yeah,
months.
all the Bryce Young
In
jerseys
the 2
flying
months.
off the shelf, right?
Yeah, skyrocketed.
It actually
After
it,
his fourth
it
base
took me a
performance.
long time to find this list because every single time I would search like top jerseys or top football jerseys, it would tell me Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, and I was like,
I mean,
well, yeah,
I mean
duh.
that is objectively the correct answers.
It is
Yes.
true.
Yeah, I know.
And there was
I'm
something
sure
else.
those 2 have sold more jerseys than these top 5 combined.
Can't believe the
Yeah, there's something else I looked up. For most recognizable names in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo is more popular than Jesus.
Yes. Yes.
That is true. More people
I
know
mean-
Cristiano Ronaldo than they know Jesus.
I mean, I would imagine soccer is probably bigger than Christianity.
Definitely, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely, 100%.
More soccer fans than there
100.
are Jesus fans.
Yes, absolutely. That's incredible.
All right, but that's all I've got for today. Anything you guys want to close out on?
Football.
Fuba.
I still think that the Bills are going 17-0.
believe
Let's see who's everybody playing this week. The Steelers and Panthers are playing on Thursday.
Good luck.
Traditional. That's a traditional preseason matchup.
Yep,
Yeah.
Ravens Commanders Saturday morning, and then Packers Seahawks
Lord.
Saturday afternoon. So those will be
man.
interesting watches, and then we get a
For
whole
sure.
week
Preseason
off
game.
to just kind of do nothing before the because
College football. Yeah.
College football.
let me look up this calendar real quick. So if we do a recording next week, it'll be off of this preseason, and then that next Thursday or that next Tuesday, that the 2nd, we could do all of our predictions and all of our game guesses.
I like that.
And
I like
that's
that,
that'll
yeah.
take up a good hour. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. If you guys got this far into the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're just doing this for fun. If we get more than 50 subscribers, we'll throw a party. How's that sound?
Yay! Party!
Party time!
Yeah! Party!
But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We're gonna go one last party, everybody. Let's go party! Yeah! Party!